This video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Valhalla. Welcome, Cred Sox 5, Nina Green, Dave G Sound, Purple Valkyrie, Samantha, Joe, the other Valkyrie. Both of the Valkyries are here, folks. Mark the Infinitely Tired. Good morning, Mark. Chris Persia, good morning, brother. B-Star 333 is in the chat, folks. Adega Outlaw, the doctor and author of Evolution, is here, folks. Good morning, Kathia Star, Yotam Darkstar. Good morning, everyone. Crimson Mist, good morning. How is everybody doing out there today? Mountains of Elysium, D.D. Myers, Nina Green, Jedi Bill 797, Speaker for the Dead, Mother Night, wrap your dark embrace about me. Oh, I love this movie, and I'm so glad we're going to get to talk about it. Gypsy Lemons, good morning. Eris of Chaos, the Battle Angel is here. Lori Roberts, the Destructor, is here in the chat, folks. Robert Pearson, Colin P. Smith, good morning, everyone. If I missed someone, Captain Trek, good morning, brother. If I missed anybody, Derek McManus, hello, good morning, and a big good morning to our one and only Starry Eyed Girl. How are you doing this morning, Starry Eyed Girl?
Good morning. I'm doing really good. Good morning, everyone. I can't respond in the chat. I can't multitask today.
Oh, wow. So before we get started, I wanted to share something that just in case you guys missed it in the opening, I wanted to read this out to you. Guys, real quick. Hi, Stone Loki. Good news. Our trust and safety team has reviewed your page and everything looks good. Your creator balance is available for transfer at any time. Thanks again for your patience on this. Best Patreon trust and safety team. So, for the cowardly POS that tried to flag my Patreon, suck it. Oh, it is so wonderful to see you. How have you been doing, Starry?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm feeling a lot better. We've got sunshine. Look at it. Yay.
Yes, sunshine.
Yeah, I'm so excited about today. I mean, yeah, I've watched both versions of the film that I could get my hands on. And yeah, I've just been counting down.
NB Geek Jesse says, Loki, I do not have a PayPal, but I did just upgrade my Patreon to Loki's personal guard. Would that be worthy of a skull? Yes, indeed. You want to do it with me, Star?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's do it. Skull!
Skull!
There it is! Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
I love that clip.
I love it too. I love that movie. I love McFarlane. I really do. He's one of my favorites. But we're not here to talk about McFarlane. We are here to talk about Tim Curry and Ridley Scott. Legend.
Yes.
I noticed, everyone, I did not say Tom Cruise because, in my opinion, Tom Cruise does not headline this movie. It is all Tim Curry.
Yes.
He
just steals the show.
Yes. From the beginning dialogue in the director's cut and in the original, when he's talking about, the darkness, him being the darkness, to the very end, the very last line when he says, "Father, protect me," and he's looking up into the sky like, what's he gonna do? He's talking to him. He's like, nah. This was not a hugely well received movie, though.
No, it wasn't. I was surprised to find that out. But yeah, it's developed its audience on VHS and then DVD.
Yeah, and I can't remember when it was, but I remember one of my best friends growing up had a laser disc. You remember laser discs?
Just
like a giant record DVD. It was a DVD the size of a record. And I watched this weird cut that I had never seen before, and it had a totally different soundtrack. And I was like, what? Oh, this is Ridley's new version. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about this backstage. Me and Loki have seen completely different versions because there was a European theatrical cut and there was the American theatrical cut with a completely different soundtrack. So it's going to be really weird to just, contrast and compare. But yeah, I definitely prefer the one with the Jerry Goldsmith score. I just think it just suits the fantasy setting. I do like the Tangerine Dream stuff, but I just think it kind of just pulls you out of that, fantasy world. I don't understand the decision for it.
No, it didn't make any sense. And Mark, damn, Loki, you're old. Thank you, Mark. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. I didn't understand. I know you did some research. Did they say why they messed with it so bad?
I think it was just to appeal to the American audience. No Tangerine Dream. It was all orchestral score. I know they cut a lot. They cut the running time a lot because Ridley Scott had said something like, basically, American audiences didn't appreciate the nuance of certain things and the complex dialogue, so they preferred the broader stroke, which I thought was really insulting, to be honest. Yeah, I thought they would have been quite happy. I mean, a Ridley Scott movie is a Ridley Scott movie. If you like his work, you know what you're going to be expecting.
Yeah, Mr. Hyde says Mia Sarah was on Josh Gad's Reunited apart for Ferris Bueller, and she still looks gorgeous today.
Oh, she was beautiful.
I haven't seen her in anything lately. Nothing lately. It's
been quiet. But Legend was a big break.
Yeah.
I think she had not been in anything before.
No.
So this is going to be a daft question, but do you prefer Princess Lily or evil Princess Lily?
Oh, man. You know what? She is beautiful as Princess Lily, but when she dances with that dress, I was hypnotized. I was like, holy crap. And then she's wearing it, and I'm like, oh. And yeah, that definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, I thought it would. It is a killer dress. I'd have loved to have had that dress. But that whole scene, the old dress waltz, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, in fact, the very first video I ever made, which was back in the early 2000s now, has that in it. It was called, it's actually on the Discord. It is in Loki's old, whatever it is. I think it's like old content from Loki. And it is called, give me just a second and scroll all the way back up. Bump in the Night. And it's actually got a picture of. I'll actually throw that in chat.
Oh yeah, it'd be cool. I'll have to look at that. Yeah.
But this was the very first video I ever made, and it was a music video. And it had dragons and the darkness from Legend, and it has the Lily Waltz scene in it, and it's all to Super Beast, White Zombie.
Oh, wow.
Super Beast.
That sounds so cool.
That was my first little. I used Windows Movie Maker. Does everybody remember that Windows Movie Maker?
Oh man. Yeah, I think that's the two scenes that always stick out to me. This one when I was a kid is obviously Tim Curry as Darkness because he terrified. Tim Curry has given me more nightmares over the years. Between Darkness and playing Pennywise, that he scarred me for life. I can't look at him as like a normal person, and his face, I just think he's just evil. Yeah.
Sit and talk with me.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, and yeah, it's it's the vault scene, and when that first reveal when you see him stepping out with the hooves and the horns. I've never seen anything like it.
No, there's nothing like it, and there's been nothing like it since. Other people may be able to play a good devil, but not that good of a devil. No, and he tries to be sweet, and he tries to be silver tongued, and he gets away with it. But then she shows her defiance, and the horns go swinging. That scene where it looks like he's gonna just like a bull in a china shop through her. Wow. Yeah.
So I think it's easy just to play him as the villain, and of course he is the villain, but there's so much underneath it, and I think you've got to be such a fantastic actor to get act through all the makeup and the prosthetic, and he didn't even that there weren't his own eyes, there were false eyes and contact lens. His actual eyes were just like these little slits underneath, because obviously with everything he was wearing, it stretched his face, like his eyes had to like move up to be at scale, so he couldn't even see properly. And he was on stilts, and he'd got this harness to hold because the horns were that big, and it was pretty heavy. I don't know the exact weight, but I know the first dress rehearsal they had, it was placing strain on his neck and shoulders, so they eventually made a harness for his head, and the horns kept getting bigger. I didn't know this in the first sketches, they weren't as big, and then the designer was like, oh, we need to make them bigger and bigger, let's make them as big as we can. And Tim Curry was like, holy shit, what have I signed up to?
How am I gonna hold that up on my head? And that was before CGI. That was before computer effects. That was they had to do that and make it real and make you believe it and make it look good.
I think that's why it still stands up, because with certain CG, I mean, we've seen it with in 70s and 80s, and it doesn't stand up as much as the real models. And and the real effects, the creature effects.
The witch. Let's talk about the witch.
Meg. She looks like something out of The Evil Dead. She terrified me.
Yes, that scared the shit out of me.
And do you know who that was played by?
Who?
Yeah. It'll blow your mind. Robert Picardo.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Robert Picardo played the Meg the Witch in the bog. No way.
It's one of the random facts that I know. And I saw his name and I thought, no, God. Yeah. Oh, they must have had such a laugh filming that. I don't know how he got involved. I have no idea, because it tended to be more of like a British and European cast. But yeah, he did a good job. And but everything, the decapitation and cutting off the unicorn, it's so dark, and I couldn't believe that it was certificate PG over here. I don't know what certificate it is over there.
It's PG.
Yeah.
It's
It's
PG. 'Cause
PG.
there's no. I think they say "damn" maybe once in that movie, and that's what they went by. There's no nudity. There's no cursing, or very, very, very little if they do say anything. So it was PG.
Yeah, but the actual monsters and some of the themes are just really dark. I mean, I know it's dark, but when I was watching back, I thought, I can't believe my parents let me watch this. It really is dark for a kid's story.
I can't believe it. It is Robert Picardo, Meg Mucklebones. That is mind blowing.
I know.
That is mine. I thought I knew this movie, and it's Robert Picardo. That's absolutely incredible.
You'll never look at him in the same way again.
Oh, I didn't. I did I did a interview, a mock interview. It wasn't a real interview, but I did a mock interview. It's probably almost a decade ago now for a Star Trek group, and he talked about his toys and getting caught in the transporter room, and people said, after listening to you do that interview, Loki, I just can't look at him the same way ever again. And I was like, oh, I know, getting caught in the transporter room with his action figure. It was just it's little things like that I used to love to do. But anyway, back to Legend. Do you think that they should have released his full cut? I mean, it was all studio interference. Obviously, when you put a message, there's a message, guys. I watched the theatrical version last night, and I had not done that. I've just been watching the director's cut every time I watch this movie. And there's a message from Ridley Scott saying, while the director's cut is my full vision of the movie, the theatrical cut had a special restoration process done to it, and it looks a lot better. You will have to decide which version you like more. And then at the bottom it says Sir Ridley Scott. And I was like, that's amazing, because you're basically saying, well, here's the studio version, and here's the version that they made look a lot better, and here's my version. It may not look as good, but it's got the Jerry Goldsmith soundtrack. It's got extended scenes. It's got more dialogue. You've got more story. You'll have to decide. And I was like, wow, that's not something you would see today. It's not.
Yeah. He's ahead of the curve. It was like, can you imagine now it would be release the Scott cut?
Yeah, release the Scott cut.
Well, I watched the director's cut last night, and I think it looks absolutely fine. I think that there's a really slight, dip in quality, but you expect that anyway from the time it was filmed. But to me, it just adds to this other world.
It looks a little darker. It does.
It looks dark, and it's got that kind of like hazy thing. It's not quite as crisp, is it? But I just think that works.
Yeah.
It doesn't put me off at all.
It's something you would kind of expect from it being from 85.
Yeah. And I always have this big thing with studio interference, because obviously I think, well, if you've got this director and you've got this story, and it was his story, he wanted to do a dark fairy tale. Why, interfere? If you haven't got the confidence in him, why did you decide, to go with it? It don't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And they did the same thing with Blade Runner. I don't want to talk about Blade Runner, but the studio did the same thing. And at the end of the day, trust your filmmakers.
Yes. Because they've got this vision and they've got this story to tell, and it felt like they didn't understand what the angle they was going for it. And because the story was about the balance of light and darkness and the flaws of humans, which I really loved. How Lily, she wasn't this perfect princess.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't this perfect princess.
She had flaws. Can you imagine a lead female character having flaws and making mistakes and having a journey?
She stole from the the farmers that she went and saw. That's something you
Yes.
don't see in the original. She
Yeah.
just walks up, oh, hello now. And she has this conversation with him while in the director's cut. She goes in and she's like, she's stealing food. And
Yeah, she's like
going
Goldilocks. She's just
Yeah.
wandering around, helping herself to things. And there's that lovely foreshadowing where she has the vision with the clock.
Yep.
And it's the carved figures. It's a girl followed around by death. And then it all turns to snow. I really like that. That was a nice touch. So just reading what Mark's put.
Yeah, he has a tone that holds its own. The story, the setting, the theme were all great. The only thing I found hard to digest was Tom Cruise's Jack. He was the only oddball in the cast. No, there was another person named Oddball. Wasn't there? Was it Oddball? No, Screwball.
Screwball.
Screwball. And that was Billy Barty, I think.
It was, yes. The only thing with Jack is he didn't seem as well developed as the rest.
And he was always in frog squat. He frog squatted through 90% of the movie.
Did even in the armor, I was like, what, does he not have any trousers?
No, he didn't have any trousers. And I'm trying to pull up who this actor was because it reminded me of something, and I didn't think about it until after I had watched this. Let me pull up the cast to this because I know. Okay, so did you ever watch House?
Yes.
Okay, you remember Wilson, his best friend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there was an episode of House where they found out Wilson had made a stag video. And he had horns, and he was like on all fours and looking up.
Yeah.
And and it immediately made me think of Tom Cruise in Legend because he's always on all fours. He looks like he's frog squatting everywhere he goes. Like he's just gonna hop. He's just gonna start hopping. And I know this was one of his very first movies.
Mm-hmm.
And is this how they wanted him to be? Was he trying to method act? I don't understand why he's always on all fours like a frog.
And he's really good at swimming as well.
Yeah, he's really good at swimming.
He did. I don't. It wasn't his. It was okay. It's not his finest work, but he certainly isn't the lead character.
No.
But it's really interesting that because I think in the US cut, the focus does tend to be more on Lily, whereas the director's cut, it's more balanced between Darkness and Lily.
Yeah. And Kathia Starr says the story wasn't about Jack. Not really. The story is Lily's. Mm-hmm. I think it's Darkness's. I think that's my personal opinion, is because it opens with Darkness.
Yes.
It opens with him giving that awesome monologue. And in the theatrical cut, he's sitting there and he's got like black glow paint on his nails and his eyes are glowing. It's because they black lighted him. But really, I like the director's cut where you don't even see him. You don't even really see him right away. No. He's just talking, and he's talking about the night, and he's talking, I am darkness. And it's hypnotizing. Tim Curry.
It just draws you in straight away. And again, and at the end, you think you've defeated me. You are nothing without me. There's always darkness. And like, a lot of what Darkness says is really true. And I think I'm identifying with this villain.
Yes. And that's of course, my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah. And because he says a really good line about dreams, that's how he influences people. And he says, the dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity. I'm like, you are so wise.
And good morning, Lorena Creel.
Good morning, Lorena Creel. Oh, lovely to see you. It is really well written because I know one of the criticisms is about the dialogue. But I never had any problem with it.
No, and especially not Tim Curry's dialogue. Mm-hmm. Not at all. When he comes out of that mirror and he scares
Mm-hmm.
the shit out of Lily,
Mm-hmm.
and then he calms down. He eases back into his silver tongue mode,
Mm-hmm.
and he says that it's just sit and talk with me.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, holy shit, dude. Not only did he get the beast right, but he got the silver tongue devil. I am the
Yes.
silver tongue devil, and I'm gonna talk you into being my bride.
Mm-hmm. It was, and I really like that scene because it just brings her, confidence out. And it'd have been really easy for just to have played the damsel in distress, but she never does.
No,
There's never a scene, and she cries a little bit when the unicorn dies. But again, she's motivated. I'm going to set things right. I'm going to do this, and it's just really lovely to see.
yeah.
I've got my goblet as well. Let me just show you this. This is an honour. Look at that. Can you see that?
Oh yes.
So I can do the I do nothing for your pleasure.
Ah.
It's water. It's not wine. It's too early.
It's too early. When she says, "I want to kill the unicorn," I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
shit." She has fallen under the darkness's influence.
Yeah, and she really sounds like she meet him. Even Jack thinks at one point that she's actually going to do it, and Gump says, judge her with your heart, not your eyes. And it's just another brilliant line. There's so many quotable lines in this. It's fantastic.
Mark says the two best villains of 1985 and 1986 were the Darkness and the Kurgan. Yeah, the Kurgan from Highlander. It's better to burn in hell than to fade away.
Oh yeah, he terrified me as well.
Yeah, when he shows up in that church with the staples or whatever in his neck, and Happy Halloween, ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
brilliant. Again, Clancy Brown's got that presence. You've got to really have that theatrical presence to really pull that off.
Yeah, and one of the games I played through recently that I was actually talking about doing a playthrough of has Clancy Brown in it, and that is Detroit Become Human. And that was my favorite part of the game. The other parts, they were okay. But the parts with Clancy Brown where you get to play as like the cop buddy with Clancy Brown, oh man. And he looks like Clancy Brown.
Is it?
He looks just like him. So it's like, I get to be the cop buddy of Clancy Brown. This is so cool. And of course he doesn't like you at first. It's like, get away from me.
Yeah.
I'm awake. And you're like, yes, it's his voice. It's him. It's
Oh, it's so cool.
And Mr. Hyde, there can be only one. Yeah, when he says that, you got Sean saying it, you've got Connor saying it, but when he says it, there can be only one. Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
But we've gone off the rails, haven't we?
We have got
About Highlander, we're not talking about Legend.
We'll do a Highlander next.
Yes, I will hold you to that.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
Heck
I love that film.
Yes, but it's just it's a magical performance from Tim Curry. Everybody else, Mia Sara is iconic in her role as Lily. She really is. I don't think you could replace her, but I think you could replace Tom Cruise with somebody else, and we could have gotten something that would not have been that different. Yes, Tom Cruise was good in that, but he wasn't that good. He was very, very young. But you can't replace Tim Curry, and you can't replace Mia Sara. And I would never want to see them try and remake this movie ever.
I think it's one. I don't think you could. It's so Ridley. Yes, Purple Valkyrie. She's distracting me. She's.
If I had hold on, I've got to look at the dates. I've got to look at my dates here on my calendar. What is the next watch party? The next watch party will be on the 29th of August. Could you make the 29th of August for a watch party?
Yeah, that should be okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'll write it down, yeah.
Highlander, awesome. Everyone? Yes. Highlander? I think we're going to do Highlander. Sean Connery and yeah.
Yeah. Queen. Oh, that
Queen.
soundtrack.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That was the one of the best parts of that, because it all flowed into the way it should be.
Mm.
It all flowed. And Sean Connery's opening dialogue to that was absolutely epic. And from the dawn of time we came, moving silently down through the centuries, living many secret lives.
God, it's just, but again, that's another film that it just draws you in. Everything. Right? This is the tone. This is the setting. You know, go for it, and you're just mesmerized. Oh, it's the best kind of storytelling.
It is, and so was this. And Lorena Creel, if you would like to be a member of the watch party, I would be more than happy to throw you an invite. I would be more than happy to throw you an invite.
Brilliant. See how many people we can get on a panel before it goes to chaos.
So you've got this journey with what did the journey of Lily do for you? Watching it when you through the years, when you first watched it, anything you want to tell us about what you thought of Lily's journey through this movie?
I really liked her because she was somebody different. I mean, I'd grown up on the Disney princesses and whatever, and they always seemed so, Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, they've got these settings, but they never put a foot wrong. And I thought, even at a young age, I really liked that. She did make a mistake. She was too impulsive and impatient and touched the unicorn. And that she decided she was going to do something about it. She wasn't going to wait for a man. But that sounds really shallow, in this day and age. But at the time, it wasn't to do with, disrespecting men and turning them into cooks. It was just, this is what we're going to do. Jack's just this side character, but he's going to help in his way. And I loved the fact that, she was teased to the dark side for a little bit, because we all would be, faced with that situation and having that spell. And I really love the magic and the spell and the dress coming to alive. It should be something really terrifying, but the way it was played, you're like, I want to dance with that dress,
Hypnotized by it.
It was, and then when she wore it, you're like, oh, I want to look like that. And then she realized what she was doing and facing off against this terrible creature. It's a big thing for a character, like that, a traditional character. And then, looking back and seeing the different versions, again, it just, the more dialogue there is, the more scenes. And there is a lot in the director's cut. There is a lot of more of Lily's reactions, and there's longer scenes between her and Darkness. And it just really epitomizes, how strong she was. And it's more than just a fairy tale. I mean, at the beginning, it's pretty traditional fair. She's dancing around the meadow and picking flowers and all this and that. And it just, for me, it just completely turned the fairy tale on its head. And the big thing, especially like Grimm's fairy tales, they are dark and they don't always have happy endings. They're more ambiguous endings. And what I liked about the director's cut, it is a slightly more ambiguous ending, because in the US cut, I think, don't they run off together?
Yep.
In the dawn. In the director's cut, it's Jack that goes off, and there's this suggestion that yes, they love each other, but Lily's decided that they'll live different lives. So when she gives him back the ring and say, I'll always be with you, this is a part of me, she's kind of cooling it off. So there's that suggestion that they're not going to get married, that they're just going to be friends. And I think that was really important, because we had been so used to these happy endings, and it kind of made me think. And especially when Ridley says this was his vision, And I think maybe that did frighten off, the studios, because I think they heard the word fairy tale and they just wanted this happy, audience need the happy endings, which is true. We do like our happy endings, but I think, it's the studios underestimate their audience
They
a hell of
do.
a lot, and I think a lot of people would have preferred that ending.
And Mark,
What?
help is on the way, Mark. I am working on it, brother. I know Mexican Iron Man, for whatever reason, sent you to the void. You are unvoided now, brother. You can
Oh,
comment. I am so sorry. Did he hide anyone else? Damn you, Mexican Iron Man.
no. He probably deserved it. I bet you were messing about.
No, I think Mexican Iron Man butt banned him.
So which ending do you prefer, Loki?
I like the director's cut ending. I do. And the reason why I like the director's cut ending is Lily, you've got, if someone today who had never seen this watched this movie, they would immediately say, well, Lily's the weak girl that you used to write, and da da da. I want to say something. Lily stood up to the devil. Lily stood up to the darkness. Big D, that everyone is afraid of. Everyone is afraid of Big D. And she stood up to him. She not only stood up to him, but she mouthed off to him and she defied him. And she tricked him and she played him. So, Mark, you are unvoided, brother. I hope you're still out there and you can say something to us. But you are unvoided. Hopefully you're still there and you don't think someone's mad at you.
I don't. Oh, poor Mark. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, she's just. This is what I mean. People, on paper, it's just, oh, she's just a princess. I'm like, no, and she's so much more than that. She's definitely. I would put her in the, the role models. I'd definitely put her in the line with Ripley and Sarah Connor. She's definitely up there as a heroine. Yeah, I just think she's brilliant. And again, those scenes are so well written, and I just really can't understand why it wasn't popular. I mean, in the UK, it was released on the lead up to Christmas, and I thought, well, that kind of time, it would do really well. We have that kind of fantasy element to it, but yeah, apparently it bombed.
Yeah, it did. It bombed. It wasn't very popular, but it got such a popular following. It did. I remember I loved this movie when I was a kid. I loved watching it later in life. I still love it. Obviously, I watched two different versions of it in the past week. I watched the director's cut and the theatrical cut. And the theatrical cut goes by so quick. It's like bam, 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 and it's over. And you're like, man, they really did cut a lot of this movie. And Spacebook says, a wonderful conversation, Loki and Starry. Thank you for reminding me of this curious delight. It really is.
Hi, Dan. Thank you. Yes, you need to watch it. Definitely. I recommend everybody to watch, especially watching the director's cut.
Yeah, because that's where, to me, that's where the magic is. Yes, the theatrical cut is good, but that director's cut is just, it's absolutely positively amazing. Especially Tim Curry and Mia Sara they really do make that movie the relationship between the darkness and Lily. Especially
she actually has better chemistry with Tim Curry than she does with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. I think Tim Curry was just, he was charismatic. He had the charisma of a king. He really did. He had that charisma that you don't often see in Hollywood anymore. And it, to credit all of his characters, from the Transylvanian transvestite and Rocky Horror Picture Show to
Mhm.
this to even in video games. We were talking about that the other day. Tim Curry is in Command and Conquer Red Alert.
Is it?
He's in 3, and you could almost see that he's almost breaking character because he wants to laugh. He wants to laugh at
Yeah.
the dialogue. He wants to laugh, and he's like smiling, and you can see it's almost coming out because
Yeah.
he's having a good time. And that's what I would
Yes.
love to work with. If I was working on a project like this, I would love to work with someone that does not have all of that, the stress. Oh, I'm going to mess up a line. Oh, I'm going to do this. No, he's just like, you know what? If something happens, it happens. And let's roll with it and have a good time and enjoy ourselves while we make a movie.
It was a really troubled production as well. I don't know if you heard about this, but the studio set on fire about 10 days before they were due to finish filming.
I didn't know that either.
Because all the forest scenes were done in the studio. They were done on the James Bond soundstage at Pinewood. And it was at lunchtime, and it was, the campfire scene.
Yeah.
They'd rigged that up. So they got this gas supply. So, they didn't have to mess about restarting it and what have you. And something happened, and it exploded. And they'd got real pigeons. Well, obviously you can tell because they're in the film, but they got this about 200 pigeons in the studio, and they used to escape. And the security guard, he was having his lunch outside, and he saw these pigeons fly. I didn't really think anything of it because that's what they used to do. And then they used to come back, but then they all flew out. It was like, what the hell's going on? And then there's this big explosion, and all the pigeons, they lined up on like a telegraph pole and on the roofs nearby, and they were all just stood watching the chaos. And there's a really good documentary where Ridley is describing it. They're all running around like headless chickens, and the fire brigade's there, and all these pigeons are just looking down, going, "What are you doing?" Yeah, so hilarious.
And
but
Mark, the Infinitely Tired, has been saved from the void.
You're back, Mark.
Welcome back, brother.
And then the other story that I know is Tim Curry got fed up of the makeup and everything and the prosthetics because it took 5 hours to apply, and at one point he got that fed up, he just started ripping it off, but because it was that stuck on, he started tearing off bits of his skin and made himself very ill, and so they had to change his schedule to work around him recovering himself. But it just sounded horrifying that, obviously he got paid well for doing it, but still having to go through that every day, 5 hours on and then 5 hours off. I've heard that too, Purple. Yeah, that is such a British thing to do, though, as well. It's the kind of that's the kind of thing that happens in Doctor Who. Just recycle everything, save money. But it's. I did like Jack's armor. I wish there had been more. Because he didn't really have to earn it, did they? They were just like, oh, there's all this armor in this tunnel. Pick what you want.
And a sword, and take what you want. And Robert Pearson is right. The void is no longer a void. It's full of accidental sending offs. Oh
man. But I think that's my only criticism. I think that
go ahead.
Yeah, it was just the hero's journey for Jack. It wasn't quite as well developed as it was for Lily. Like we were saying, like he wanders around like a frog, and then all of a sudden he can, wave a sword about, and is an excellent fighter. I'd like to have seen him challenged a bit more, but he did use his head when he was tricking Meg. So he has. He did have it upstairs that he could manipulate people. But I would have liked a bit more challenge for Jack, I think.
Yeah, because the challenge definitely was there for Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And the Screwball, and what was the other one? What was the
Brown Tom.
Brown Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Brown Tom Gump and Screwball. It's almost like they were visitors in a world that wasn't theirs.
Yeah.
And who played what was the Annabella Lanyon, I hope I said her name right. Ona playing the fairy. That always blew me away. Oh, it's a little fairy. It's like a Tinkerbell fairy. A Naughty Moose just tipped $20. Thank you so very much, a Naughty Moose. And we got to do it again.
We got to do it, yeah.
Score!
Let's go!
There it is! It's you! Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
And a naughty moose. A naughty moose.
Yeah.
A naughty moose. I thought it was a naughty moose. But no, a naughty moose says hashtag rock rolled Mark. Rock rolled Mark.
Look.
Oh, thank you so very much, Anonymous. So I know I like the director's cut. I know you like the director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to give the director's cut a rating from, let's say, 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 9. It only misses out on the 10 just because it is impossible to restore it to the full quality. But yeah, I think definitely a solid 9.
I completely agree with you. What about the theatrical cut?
The theatrical cut, I would say 7, maybe 7.5. I really do think it loses
Depth.
a little bit. Yeah, it loses depth. That's the word I was looking for. And the pacing is, it's boom, 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 boom. It's so fast that you don't even get chance to breathe. Whereas the director's cut, it's a lot. It doesn't feel that slower, but it does give you that chance just to, catch your breath at times.
I completely agree. I would give it a 7 as well. Colin P. Smith says Michael Pratt nearly drowned making Robin of Sherwood because the string had not been pre-shrunk and tightened when it got soaked. He was only saved by divers in the water. I did not know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
So many near misses. Like, woo, barely, especially back then. Ridley had problems with his movies early on. I know that when they did Alien, the space suits they were in when they were out on the alien planet, those were pumping CO2 into the helmet because they had a CO2 machine to do the air vape that was escaping the suit. Well, that was leaking back into the helmet. So they've got these 100-pound spacesuits on a set, and it's hot. It is super hot in the studio and in the suits. So they're sweating and they're having CO2 pumped into their masks while they're walking around and filming. And I believe it was Tom. It's Tom Skerritt, right? Tom Skerritt almost quit. He almost walked off. He threw a big fit and was like, "What are you trying to do? Kill us all, you dumb bastards!" And walked off and then came back and was like, "All right, let's do this." And it's one of those things that used to happen. It's a Hollywood thing that used to happen. People almost dying, and there's people that still they don't make it offset. They're stuntmen, they're stunt women. Someone died in one of the Resident Evil movies because a car fell on them. A car.
Oh my God.
And it's studio accidents. I know there was an accident on a Tom Cruise movie not too long ago. I think that was the one about drug running. But it's something that happens.
Yeah, it was like it happened on Batwoman.
Yep.
It was somebody died and somebody got paralyzed. Did somebody die? Somebody got paralyzed.
I think it was her stunt woman.
It's just in. It's insane. But I think with that, the company how it is, I think they did cut a lot of corners, and it was made on the cheap. But you just can't do things like that.
No.
On the cheap.
I know that the guy that was in the Pizza the Hut suit in Spaceballs caught on fire because that suit had to stay hot to keep they actually had pizza. That wasn't like a movie effect. They actually had cheese.
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah. And when that guy takes that piece off him, he's like, you're delicious. Yeah, that's a real piece of pizza he took off of him and was eating. And the suit was smoking. It was just about to catch on fire, and it was smoking because they were keeping that all hot.
God.
And Mexican Iron Man says, man, I forgot what starry-eyed voice was like. I could listen to her read a phone book. So nice and sweet. It almost makes me want to be a better, less sexy Mexican Iron Man. Almost.
Oh, damn it. I was so close.
Hitting on the ladies.
Thank you, Mike.
Hitting on the ladies and trying to throw the guys into the void. Why am I not surprised? Trying to improve the ratio is what Iron Man is trying to do. Oh, so thank you. I want to thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you so very much for coming on. I love this movie. I really do. And I get a chance to talk to someone that loves it as much as I do.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been looking forward to this all week.
And boom, it's over. We blink and it's over.
I know. It feels like 5 minutes.
Yes, it does. But you are always welcome back. You are always welcome back. I'd love to have you back on here. And I would love to get to talk to you about the Highlander movie when we do the Highlander watch party. So, guys, big thank you to Starry Eyed Girl again. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you all for everything. You guys keep the lights burning here in Valhalla and keep these shows going each and every week. So thank you all. You too, Starry. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. The Valkyries are coming up in just a little over an hour. Make sure to check them out. And I will see you guys tonight with more Telltale Batman coming to you at 4 p.m. tonight. So everyone have a great day, and we will catch you all later.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.